Today is March 3rd, and today's quote is entitled, "The Most Liberal." Members of other Gaudiya Math missions sometimes criticize Prabhupada for his liberal policies with women because he engaged women in ways that even his own guru had not done. In Gaudiya Math, women do not live in temples. They don't chant and dance in the same room with men. They don't cook for the temple deity or engage directly in the worship of the temple deities. Sometimes he asks women to be head pujaris or allow them to travel with him as his personal cooks. Don't take this for granted as if this were normal. Vaisnavas outside of Iskcon see these as deviations. I wanted to present this because it demonstrates something about Prabhupada's compassion. In the beginning of the movement, women were coming. It was unconventional that you'd have women so close to men. It was unconventional that women would live in ashrams. It was unconventional that they would be mingling and dancing together. It was unconventional that they would be doing puja in temple deities. What to speak of being head pujaris. It was certainly unconventional that they would travel with him as a cook. And Prabhupada did that because he saw the women were eager to serve, and because they were eager to serve, he wanted to give them the opportunity. And there were times when some of the leaders wanted to push the women back and say, no, we shouldn't make all this facility for them, because when a woman comes, that means one brahmachari is going to get married. For every woman that comes, another brahmachari is going to get married. So it was a kind of fanatical behavior on part of the brahmacharis. Now, Prabhupada didn't go for it. He said, no, they're women, they're coming, I have to give them shelter. That was his mood. And he was being criticized for this because his Guru Maharaj didn't do this. Only he did it. So naturally, he's being criticized. So it's interesting, isn't it? And we might think, well, Prabhupada is very conservative. But here, we're seeing how liberal Prabhupada is, and how he's showing his liberalness is coming out of his compassion. So he's willing to make certain compromises that he feels are in the best interest of preaching, and therefore are the higher principles, because it's going to save somebody. It's going to help somebody go back to Godhead. Why should I follow a principle that would not include everyone in Krishna consciousness? So just meditate on Prabhupada's compassion in regards to how he dealt with women. Now you might look at women's position in Iskcon and say, well this, well that, but at least try to understand that before Prabhupada, there wasn't this or that. There wasn't much. Of course, yes, they did get initiated, but they really didn't have much position in terms of seva, aside from, little minor sevas off the side. And Prabhupada allowed women to preach in big public programs, lead kirtan in big public programs. He allowed them to organize public programs. He was actually happy that they were doing it. He encouraged that. Now, some people will say, well, they wanted to do it, he really didn't want them to do it. And, or he allowed it, or they were pushing him, or it was a temporary measure. I don't think that's an accurate estimation of it. I think this is a preaching tactic based on Prabhupada's compassion. I don't think his compassion is ever going to change, and one day he would have said, if he were still alive, well, that's it for women now. They just have to be mothers and grandmothers, and their service will not extend beyond that. That wasn't his mood. Actually, in the early days of the movement, he arranged nurseries so it would free up women to do service. And some women did the service of preaching, book distribution, or other services. So he really encouraged that, because he saw that was their spirit. They wanted to do it, and he didn't want to stop them. So it's a very important principle. Prabhupada's compassion manifested in relation to how he was willing to do things even his spiritual master didn't do, which would help in the West for encouraging half the people he was preaching to. Hare Krishna.